Hey guys, it's Abby and welcome back to my channel. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Abby. I'm an artist and author, and today I'm going to review this set. This is a Faber-Castell 36 color solid watercolor set. It's a newly released product here in the Philippines, and I'm gonna give you my thorough review about it. I have used it for lettering and my painting, and so far I really like how it turned out. So keep watching the video to see more about it. So this palette has 36 colors, and knowing me, I have never used something this much. Usually I buy palettes that only have 12 colors, maximum 24 colors, but this one gives me a wide range of colors. Lol, this kind of looks like a makeup palette, but lol, this is an art channel. Anyway, I have used most of the colors. What I like about this is I don't have to mix specific shades in order to attain a certain color that I want, because usually what I do is I have like a set of 12 and just work my palette around it. What I did do here is I made sure to swatch every color. Each color on the pan doesn't necessarily translate to what it looks on paper. Usually it's more pigmented on the pan, but sometimes when you put it out, the color is not enough, so you have to take those into consideration. I would say pricing wise, it's a really good investment. I will put the prices down below for Philippine market. And honestly, I have the three different types of watercolors. My first one is entry level, which is really basic. It's either prang, or I also have this 12 set of Faber-Castell pans, which are kind of powdery, but they really work well for lettering, and especially me because I use more paint and less water. And then mid-level ones would be something like this, which you can take around anywhere and at the same time use for both illustration and lettering. And I think wash-wise, I like how this turned out because I did some swatches with water in it, and I like how the colors blended smoothly. And also depends also on watercolor paper that you use. So I'm using entry-level watercolor paper. If you use a higher quality paper, actually the pigment will be more seamless on the page, and it really reflects. So it really depends on what paper you're also going to use. For me, this palette is suitable for daily work. It's also very compact. I usually have palettes that are long. So this one is kind of squarish, which is kind of the size of most of my watercolor pads, but I like it because what I do is my setup is I put my paint on the left side, and then the right side where my pad is, and on in front of that is my water, my container, and tissue and other materials. So I would suggest this for daily work, daily practice. It's a good way also to not have to prep everything. You just have to open it, and basically you have all the colors laid out for you. In terms of the quality of the paint, I wouldn't say it's top notch, but again, this is good for practice, and it's an upgrade if you're starting with a beginner level one. Honestly, the pigment there is not enough to cover whatever you want to illustrate or paint. And my tip here is there is a palette here, which I've already abused. There is a palette here that you can use to paint and to lay out your colors. So if you're like me who does lettering and uses a big amount of a certain color, I would suggest prepping everything here because it's easier also for you to lay out the colors, figure out how it's placed, and as you go along, you can add to it. What I noticed is I don't really prepare a lot from the start. Let's say I use this like turquoise mint shade. I did prepare a lot of it, but eventually it dries up fast, so you have to be quick, and I can't be quick doing my lettering. So what I do is I just keep adding as I go along, and basically just, that's why my pan is kind of dirty. I just dip my water in and put it there. So there's also a water brush included in this package, and I would say the water brush is so-so. I'm not a big water brush user nowadays. I only use it for travel sketching because I figured that the water concentration is just too much for me, especially when I do lettering, and water brushes are more recommended for gradient lettering, and this one I'm not doing a lot of gradients. If you notice, the way I use watercolor for lettering is mostly for sign painting. It's kind of concentrated, so honestly I could have used gouache, but for some reason I like the consistency of watercolor and water, so I guess it's just part of my process. So overall, yeah, I really highly suggest getting this. It's very compact, it's really good, and I have been using Faber-Castell products for a really long time, and I'm really glad that they came out with this because they did have tubes. I'm not a big tube user unless I really need a certain shade, and I have like maybe just 10 colored tubes that I buy from different brands. And then they did have the entry-level pans, which I really loved, and I still use it from time to time. But then they don't really have something that's mid-level or good quality. What they do have is color pencils and watercolor pencils, but I am not a heavy user of those types of materials, especially for watercolors. So this one is really good. If you're not keen on getting 36 colors, you can always get just 24, or if you want more colors, you can always get 48. Even if this has already a huge amount of color range, I still try to mix my own colors because I don't know, I'm very particular again with my type of red, the way it's desaturated, the way it's saturated, the way a certain coral has to appear on paper. So yeah, this is a good starter kit, and if you're also deep into lettering or painting, I really suggest getting this. It's also comparable to the Sakura Koi sketch box, but I haven't used that in a while. The first one I got was like 4 years ago. I would say the pigment wise, it's kind of the same. So I don't know what your preference is, but I highly suggest just getting this one instead because you already have basically a lot of colors here and the pigment quality is very good. So I hope you enjoyed this review, and if you want me to review more about art materials, let me know. I do have a lot of art materials here, I just realized, and it's nice to actually take them out and really show you guys how I use it. Thank you to Faber-Castell Philippines for sending me their watercolor set. If you want to get one for your own, I will link some helpful links down below, and be sure to follow them on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more updates, and be sure to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more updates. So I will see you guys on my next video. Bye!